Okay, so I think we can start. Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for tuning back in. I'd like to welcome our last speaker for today, Mr. Jordan Hattar. Very excited to hear what he has to say. He has very special guest speakers who came along with him as well. He first started working in humanitarian crisis at the age of 18 in South Sudan. Since then, he worked extensively on the Syrian refugee crisis and interned in the Obama White House. He holds a bachelor's degree in international studies from California State University, Long Beach, and a master's degree in international relations from the University of Cambridge. Jordan has been invited to speak in more than 45 countries and leads service trips to Jordan. Jordan currently runs the nonprofit he co-founded, Help for Refugees. Jordan, please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Bayan. Yeah, Jordan, coincidentally in Jordan. I'm actually currently right now in Egypt. And, I thought no better way after a long day of sessions than instead of having me speak, open it up to refugees. So we've got five incredible refugee women joining us today from the country of Jordan. And just a little format. So I'll introduce them briefly and then have them, just answer one question, sharing about their experiences as a Syrian refugee in Jordan. And then after that, we can just take your guys' questions. So to introduce them, first we have Zainab. Zainab, do you want to say hi? This is Zainab. She's a single Syrian mother of 2 children. And I met her through the Islamic Center in Bayadir in Amman. And she was like a teacher of kindergarten there, kindergarten teacher. And unfortunately, that center, which was supported by UNICEF, shut down. She's currently looking for work, but she finds ways to make use of her free time by tutoring children in the neighborhood. Then we also have 4 students from the American University of Madaba joining us. So we've got Rahaf. Rahaf, do you want to say hi or wave?
Oh, hey, everyone.
Hey, Rahaf. So Rahaf studies translation at American University of Madaba. And then joining us as well is, we've got Shaza, Batul, and Reem, and they're all together right now. And they also study at the American University of Madaba. Do you guys want to say hi?
Hi, everyone.
Hey guys, are you able to turn on video?
Yes, sure.
Okay, perfect. And then we also have Shahid joining us. Shahid's going to help with translation for Zainab. And Shahid is currently at the Ahliya School for Girls in Amman, Jordan. And she's interning with Help for Refugees. So Shahid, can you say hi?
Hi, everyone.
Okay, so I think we're perfect to start. So maybe we can just start with a question to Zainab, and maybe Zainab, you can share about what your experiences have been like as a Syrian refugee in Jordan. And Shahid, could you translate for us, please?
أكيد. هلا زينب، بس عشان إذا بتقدر تحكي عن تجاربك بالأردن كونك أنت لاجئة من سوريا، فإيش التجارب الخاصة اللي أنت مريتي فيها؟
أهلا شهد، أهلا جوردان والجميع كلهم. أنا كحدا يعني إنسان طلع من الأردن، من سوريا جاء الأردن، تجارب خط أكيد تجارب كبيرة كتيرة، وهو شيء مو متوقع كان يعني ولا شيء كان يعني أنا جربت من قبل. الفراق أول تجربة هي كانت تجربة كيف أنت تطلعي من بيتك بلدك، تتركي أهل لإلك وتمشي، يعني هاي تجربة إنك تفارقي ناس عزيزين عليكي، كان هي كبيرة كتير. وإنك تجربة في تجارب كتير مرقت بمسيرة التهجير، كان داخلي كان خارج سوريا كلها. مرقت بتجربة مسؤولية، حمل مسؤولية كبيرة كتير لطفلين، ومسؤولية نفسي يعني. وصلي طفلين في بلد جديد أنا بطلع عليه. تجربة كيف أنت تكون متأقلم. أنا دخلت اشتغلت التأقلم بمكان جديد، وكيف أنا أكون فيه فعالة. يعني إنه تركت بلدي أوكي، وكنت في حالة كتير يعني نفسية سيئة، لكن إنه كان في شعور إنه أنا كيف أنا أكون أنا كمان حدا إيجابي بهي الظروف اللي كتير كانت صعبة. يعني إن كان لنفسي وإن كان لعائلتي وإن كان للمجتمع اللي حوالي. يعني هيك انتبه لهي النقطة.
Now
آم،
Zainab described her journey. زينب بدك تحكي أي شيء؟
إنه أحكي ممكن تفاصيل، بحب أحكي عن تفاصيل مرحلة معينة مثلا من حياتي، مسيرة اللجوء.
يعني هم بس كان بدهم يعرفوا إنه إذا في تجارب معينة أو إيش كان
مم.
أصعب إشي مريتي فيه.
أصعب شيء إنك توصل على مكان آمن. أصعب شيء إنك توصل بحي سليم معافى. كان في هي إنك تقطع هاي المرحلة، أنت وأولادك، أنت وأهلك يعني. بعدين المرحلة الصعبة اللي كانت كيف أنا أمن ظروف معيشية، بما إنه أنا مسؤولة عن أولاد. كيف أمن كيف كون نفسي بداية الموضوع اللي كان شاغل بالي، كيف أنا نفسيتي ترتاح عشان أريح أولادي، عشان أقدر أتعامل معهم صح. وبعدين مباشر يعني التعليم كان قضيتي الأساسية، إنه يدخل ابني مدرسة على السريع، مع إنه نحن كنا طالعين من حرب. بس وكيف أنا أقدر أمن يعني ظروف المعيشية المناسبة اللي هي أقلها إنه تكوني يعني ببيت ومأمنة المستلزمات الأساسية ليومك يعني مع أولادك. إذا
Shahid,
بتحبي.
can you translate for us, please? Thanks so much.
Yes, of course. Now Zainab started by describing her journey as unexpected. It was truly unexpected. She never imagined herself leaving her home, her family, many of her family members behind, but she had to do it in order to ensure a safe living for her kids. So her initial feeling was just scared. She was moving to a new country, to a new environment. She didn't know anyone in Jordan, and that was a concern for her. And also, being a mom, she was really worried about her children, their mental health, their education. And so her initial priorities were all concerning their education, their well being. And she tried to adapt as much as possible. And she tried to overcome the fear and the sadness that she faced initially. And that was just, you know, how her journey started. And how truly it was very hard and unexpected, as I mentioned, but she was able to overcome these specific challenges and feelings.
Thank you so much, Shahid. Rahaf, do you mind? And thank you so much for sharing, Zainab. Her story is one of incredible resilience, and hopefully we can hear more about it. Rahaf, do you mind sharing what your experiences have been like? I know you're at a different stage of your life, but we would love to hear.
Yeah, okay, sure. Actually, I didn't face the same problems as Zainab did, but I think that because she's a mother for two children, that's why she may face a bigger problem that I faced actually. So actually, I faced problems in my life maybe in first 2 years when I came to Jordan, which was in 2012, and that was when I was in my seventh grade actually. Because I had a new school, I had a new friends, I had a new people to know, and uh, I didn't actually made that kind of friends that friends that can help you in in very fast, because everything was new for me, even the country, even the house, everything literally, and I faced a little bit problem with my studies because the material was very new, and I don't. It was different, very different of what we were taking in Syria. So I had a little problem with that, and maybe how we dealt with it, uh, it was very hard to deal with that. Actually, I couldn't mm, mm, make it so good. My marks, I mean, and my sorry, and my studies, I couldn't make it so good because all of the new things that I had to do with my life, my new house, my new even we didn't have anyone to know in Jordan. We didn't have any relatives to talk to and deal with. So everything was new, and yeah, that was my biggest problem actually. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rahaf. And Shaza, would you like to share?
Yes, sure. Coming to Jordan, we're living now in Jordan. Coming to Jordan was not an easy process in the beginning, and that was the first obstacle we faced. And then settling in Jordan, we couldn't find people who could help us because it's a new community and new people, new country rules, and we didn't know how to deal with this stuff, and we were easily like people wouldn't tell us the truth about the rules, and they can steal from us some money or something. And then we weren't able to register to school as for me and my sisters. It wasn't an easy process. It took a long time. In Jordan, Syrians are not allowed to apply for jobs. And in the same time, there's no enough charities that help Syrians. So basically, you're left in the middle.
Thank you, Shaza. So, there's a lot of directions we could take this conversation, but I kind of wanted to open it up to anyone that has questions and see how they would like, the conversation to go.
So we have a question from Samiha. If you can you unmute your mic? Or
yes, hello, can you all hear me?
yeah.
Okay, hi, hello, Mr. Jordan, it's Samiha here, and it's really good to have you all here, even your friends from the Syrian refugee community. So I just wanted to ask this question, which I had faced during my research with regards to Syrian refugees. One issue that I came across was that, like some of them mentioned, that the citizens of the host nation, even during my research, they also expressed some concern regarding the friction that rise between the communities of the host nation and the refugees. So how much integration is possible in the country that you migrate to, like beyond the limits of nationality and regionality? do you think that there is any practicality in thinking that people will accept refugee and host communities working together without any biases on day-to-day basis? So that is what I wanted to know, like from those who have experienced it. Is it possible for a complete integration of the refugee communities, not within any demarcated areas like refugee camps, like within the host nation population itself? Is it possible? Isn't it good that the host nation can make use of such human resource in form of refugees? Thank you.
That's a great question, Samia, and it's good to hear from you. Your research was incredible. And I guess, what's really incredible, the 5 women joining us, the 5 Syrian women, are all in the host community. None of them are in the refugee camps right now. So Shahid, do you mind translating this question? And maybe we can start with Zainab on her thoughts.
Yes, of course. هلا سميحة سؤالها إنه أنتم من تجربتكم الخاصة كيف لقيتوا المجتمع الأردني تقبل المجتمع اللاجئين السوريين؟ كيف كان هذا التغيير بالمجتمع؟ وسؤال سميحة يعني بالتفصيل إنه بالنسبة لكم هل ممكن المجتمعات، مش بس المجتمع الأردني، أي دولة بتتقبل لاجئين، إنه تقاوم كل العنصرية وتقدر إنه تقبل هاي المجموعات الجديدة بسهولة؟ وهل طبعا الحياة يعني بتقدر تصير أسهل للاجئين بالذات بالمجتمعات الخارج المناطق اللاجئين، يعني خارج الكامبس وخارج المخيمات؟ فزينب إذا بتقدري تحكي من تجربتك الخاصة، بما إنه أنت عادي عايشة بعمان مش بمجتمع لاجئين أو مخيم.
أوكي. أهلا سميحة وشاذة ورهف، وأنا كنت شايفة الجميع بالبداية. هل هذا السؤال ممكن إنه المجتمعات تتقبل وجود حدا لاجئ؟ يعني نحن كلاجئين جينا بداية، جينا غير يعني مش حدا مقرر يجي بإرادته وإجا يعني، لكن هو كان هروب من حرب يعني. ف نحن صراحة انفرضنا على يعني إنه نحن نجي على الجوار، يعني كان الأردن كان لبنان، فكانت هي أقرب المدن يعني البلدان اللي يجي عليها. نحن هون موجودين لازلنا تقريبا بالآلاف اللاجئين، بعد ما كان مليون وإشي، يعني كنا مليون وشوي. في منهم اللي هاجر، في منهم اللي ما بعرف إنه ما بقى في الأردن. لكن يعني بداية هي كانت موضوع صعب، لا على اللاجئ السوري أكثر من اللي داخل. يعني نحن أصلا تاركين بلدنا وطالعين، وفي شعور بالذنب، في شعور بالخوف، في شعور خوفك على الناس الموجودين أو شو عم يصير. لكن كان لجوء بداية ودخلتنا على الأردن، كان في ترحيب من الأهالي، كان في تقبل، كان في ناس، في العظمى كانت هي فعليا، لا كان في تعاون. أنا هيك اللي شفته بين الناس واللي درسته، يعني بالعكس كانت الناس كتير متعاونة. أهل الأردن ما كتير يعني الحمد لله على هي الشغلة، إنه ما كتير في عنصرية عندهم. هاي الشغلة ما توجد، بتنسيها بين يعني كل مثلا 10 عيال عيلة يعني مثلا. فهن بالنسبة لباقي الدول لا، عندهم التقبل، عندهم النخوة، أو في حتى من قبل كان في علاقات أصلا، كان في نحن كنا قريبين على بعض، فكان في ناس تروح على سوريا وتيجي وتصطافي بسوريا مثلا. فكان هذا الموضوع يأثر، يعني إنه في إنه أكل وشرب ومي وملح زي ما بيقولوا إنه بسوريا يعني. فكان في هي المودة موجودة. هلا اللي ما بيعرفك أو ما أنت جربته، أو إنه مثلا يختلف من بلدان أخرى، أو حسب كيف يحكوا المنشأ، يعني حسب منشأ أنا كيف رابي أنا أكون عون لحدا حولي، أكون عون لجاري، لصديقي، لأخي، لأي حدا. أنت من الطفولة هيك، فأنت أكيد لما يصير عندك أي طارئ ويجي عندك حدا حتكون له بالوجه المرحب. لكن إذا لا أنا ما عندي هذا شعور العطاء أو شعور أن أكون عون للآخرين، صعب أتقبل، وبيكون في العنصرية موجودة أكثر. هون في ناس كانت نفس هي السوريين نفسهم اللاجئين ما كانوا متقبلين وجودهم هون. يعني كان يزعل أي كلمة حكى لهم. نحن وضعنا شوي حساس، يحكي كلمة لاجئ ما كنا نتقبلها. وضع ثاني إنه نحن تركين كل شيء غصب عننا، خسرنا أشياء كثيرة. كان أرواحنا كان شيء مادي، فكان مش متقبل يقعد هون أصلا. يعني أصلا بالموجود بالأردن أنا بدي أنزل، فيحكي إنه أنا شوي نازلين. كثير ناس ما أسست شيء ببيوتها أو كونت مشروع لإلها أو شغل معين عشان هي أنا شوي ونازلين. إحنا لا، مش مكاننا هذا، مو مكاننا ونازلين. فكانت التقبل من السوريين أكثر. في بعض كان شوي عنده عنصرية، لكن كثير جدا قليل بنظر للأردن يعني. اللي كان هم الأغلب مرحبين ومتعاونين جدا يعني. إنه هل كيف أنا ممكن أنا
Sorry,
كتجربة من
Zainab.
تجربة لإلي؟
Sorry, we might just so we can get the translation first because I know it's a lot. Sorry.
Okay.
Shahid, do you mind?
أكيد. Now, Zainab started by saying that the thing with moving to countries, and since the Syrian war was very unexpected, it truly relied on both sides to accept the situation. It was very difficult for the Syrian refugees, but also for the host community to sort of understand the situation and understand the thousands of people coming in from the border. Now, Zainab personally, she didn't really face a lot of racist behavior or biased behavior, let's call it that. But of course, there were people from both sides who did not really accept the situation. But it is also very necessary to understand that Syria and Jordan are neighboring countries. And so many people have relatives in both countries. Many people visit Jordan and visit Syria occasionally. And so it was much easier since both sides have the same culture, they speak the same mother tongue, and communication was much easier. The lifestyle was also very similar. But in the future, Zainab does believe that with acceptance, we can live in a diverse community where both sides accept one another and where we don't really face racist behavior or just racism, biased behavior, all of that. So, and also it is a given, Zainab mentioned that there is almost 1 million Syrian refugees in Jordan. So that is 1/10 of Jordan's population. So now, as the years are passing by, you meet Syrians every day of your life. And so it's become a natural part to experience the refugee, to meet refugees, sorry, and really witness the integration between both sides in Jordan.
Thank you, Shahid. And just one follow-up, just because I know Zainab very well, and not to put her on the spot, but maybe Shahid, I think it's important to remember that Zainab is really an optimistic person in her answer. She shared with me before, when she's looking for jobs, they would say, oh, you can get this job, but the phrase they say is, if only you weren't Syrian. Do you mind having her sharing that phrase with her, Shahid, and seeing if she could share and ask her if that was representative of her experiences looking for jobs, or if that was just a one-time story that she shared with me before.
هلا جوردن بما انه بعرفك بشكل شخصي فحابب يسألك عن اظن مرة قلت له قصة انه كنتي عم بتقدمي على شغل وكانت انه الجواب دائما بس لانك سورية او اشي زي هيك فبتقدري تحكي لنا شوي عن هاي التجربة او اذا مريتي فيها باكثر من يعني مرة مش شرط بس مثلا بتجارب تقديم الشغل فبس حابين انه تحكي شوي
شهد كنت أنا بحكي لك من شوي بشكل عام عن الشعب الأردني يعني. لكن ممكن إنه أنا بالنسبة لي لما بعرف اسمع أخبار مثلا الناس اللاجئين بلبنان فإنه بقارن فبلاقي لا في يعني في نقاط تحسب أفضل للأردنيين يعني وهني مشكورين. ناهيك عن بعض الأشياء يعني مثلا بس أذكر هيك ببساطة. مثلا مرة كنا راكبين سيارة تاكسي نطلع بمكان فأنا وزميلتي فبيحكي له بتحكي هي بالطريقة السورية فبيحكي له أنتم سوريين أنا ما بطلعكم أنت خربت البلد. فيعني إنه هذا عادة مستوى شخص يعني إنسان. فأنا ما بعمم يعني بحكي لأنه هو هيك مش لأنه في مجموعة من الشعب مش متحملة يعني مش متقبلة. لكن بما أنه بس أحكي بس نقطة أنا آسفة إني حطول. شوي صغيرة، لأنه مثلا هلا نفترض في لبنان مثلا فيها 1500 مليون و500 لاجئ سوري. لبنان أصلا هي تعاني أصلا أزمات حاليا، والله يكون في عونهم. بس هن متربعين على أصلا على أكثر من طائفة، أكثر من كذا، ففي سوريين موجودة أصلا عندهم. لما يجيهم حدا من برا خلص إن غير متقبلين، مش متقبلين المجتمع نفسه، هن كنفسهم هم. فالمجيين السوريين طبعا لا، مش كثير متقبلين كانوا. فبس كنت بحكي عن هذا الموضوع. اما بالنسبه للشغل وكسوريين موجودين هون وهيك، انا كزينب كثير اعاني جدا. يعني انا من زمان كنت اعاني للاقي وظيفه كنت الاقيها بالمنظمات. كانت منظمات كثير شغاله عندنا في الاردن، موجوده علينا كنحن كسوريين. كنت اشتغل، انا موجوده. انا اول شيء تطوعت كتطوع، وكنت الحق عملت اول شيء دعم نفسي، اسعاف دعم نفسي لنفسي انا. بعدين صرت اشوف كيف بقدر اساعد اللي حوالي والناس والمجتمع. فلما انا دخلت بمجال اني انا اشتغل، لا يحكوا لك لا لانك سوريه، طب اخذي كذا، معك مثلا اقامه. طب انا لا لاجئه، مش ما حيكون معي اقامه. ما كانت تكفي مجرد البطاقه الامنيه او اي اثبات، لا بيكون مثلا عندك اقامه زمان وانت ممكن حاليا فانت تشتغل. انا كل ما اروح مكان فعليا، خصوصا بعد جائحه كورونا لما خف الشغل كثير، وانا يعني كمان بحكي انه الظروف صارت أسوأ لانه اصعب بكثير. فصار فانه
So,
صعب انا
sorry,
بدخل شغل.
Zainab, sorry. I think we just want to translate, and then the second
اوكي.
part was Asif. Yeah, sorry, Shah.
اوكي.
بس جوردن كان بده يطلعك عشان اترجم اول جزء بعدين تكملي.
اوكي.
تمام. هلا زينب, she started by mentioning that she compared Jordan to Lebanon. So in Lebanon, you have many political parties and you do find racism within the Lebanese community. And so Syrian refugees in Lebanon face a lot more racism in terms like during job applications, residency, educational opportunities, and all of that. However, still in Jordan, you might find people who have an old fashioned mindset, who are not accepting. And Zainab herself did go through some situations where she did meet racist people and she was treated in a biased way. So, one instance that she just mentioned was she and her mate, they wanted to ride a taxi, and so they got in the taxi and they were just speaking, their Syrian accent, and the driver said that, oh, I cannot take you because you're Syrian. And unfortunately that happens. But again, as we try to accept and as we try to have an open mind as a community, we will be able to overcome this racist mindset, let's call it, or old fashioned mindset. And this was just some of the situations that Zainab faced personally, and also in regards to job applications, it was very difficult because in Jordan you have to have like a residency and so many legal papers, and that was really hard for refugees. And so Zainab had to volunteer. She had to work, she had to work in organizations in order to afford basic needs for her family. So these were a couple of the challenges that she faced.
Thank you so much, Shahad. And I wanted to get in, Shaza, did you want to add anything to this question, or I know Rahaf wants to take the next question. Okay, maybe we'll move on to the next question that someone has. How does that sound?
Maybe yes, moving to the next question.
Okay, so I see a few questions in the chat. So first thing from Seima, or Shema, sorry. She said, may Allah, I guess, have mercy on our Syrian brothers. May Allah of them are Syrian. Maybe allow them to access all social and economic opportunities for everybody, for mothers or teenagers, students, even for little children. The life conditions are very difficult. And that she hopes that the crisis and the war in your country will come to an end. And she says, best regards from Turkey. Now, as for question, Dana Ismail asked, how possible is integration in realistic view in host communities of basic civil rights like freedom of work or movement? And is there a fear of identity-related social issues if the full integration is made? What could be the social consequences to that integration? And then she had another question, but I think we'll start with that one.
Okay, Rahaf, do you want to start with the next question, this question?
Did it make sense?
Please,
The question makes sense? Yes.
can you please let Chada answer first?
Shahad? You want Shahad to...
Oh,
Chada, sorry.
Oh, Shaza.
oh,
Okay, okay.
Shaza. Okay, Shaza, do you mind sharing?
I just didn't get the question. Can you repeat, please?
Dana, can you talk on the mic? Maybe you can... Oh, she rephrased the question. How possible is integration in realistic view in host communities if basic civil rights like freedom of work or movement are denied? So I guess she means like, how possible is it to integrate with the community of the country that you're in, your host country, if they deny you basic rights like freedom of work or movement?
Shaza, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Just,
So do you understand it? Yeah, go ahead.
maybe if Shad could explain it in another way in Arabic, please.
هلا كان سؤال دانا إلك إنه من ناحية حقوق العمل، الحقوق يعني الموجودة بالمجتمعات، كيف بقدر المجتمعات اللاجئين السوريين يكون عندهم هاي الحقوق ويكونوا يقدروا يمارسوا هاي الحقوق بحرية بدون أي عنصرية وبدون أي مشاكل بالمجتمع. فأنت بالنسبة لك كيف بقدروا اللاجئين يمارسوا حقوقهم بالمجتمعات بطريقة أحسن، بما إنه الحقوق شوي بتتغير لما بدها تطبق على اللاجئين؟
Sorry, do
كان
you mind
أحاول.
me rephrasing the question maybe in the way that I mean it, if you don't mind me interrupting?
Yeah, go ahead. Maybe that's the best option.
yeah.
If you speak Arabic, you can
in Arabic, yeah. So سؤالي هو هل فعلا فكرة إدماج اللاجئين بالمجتمعات المضيفة مثل اللاجئين السوريين في الأردن أو الفلسطينيين في لبنان أو حتى السوريين بلبنان مثلا، هل هي فعلا فكرة قابلة للتنفيذ؟ هل ممكن فعلا ندمجهم في المجتمع المضيف إذا كان المجتمع المضيف أصلا بيمنعهم إنهم يمارسوا حقوقهم البسيطة اللي بدنا نقول عنها البيزك هيومن رايتس أو حقوق الإنسان الأساسية اللي هي حرية التنقل أو حرية العمل أو حرية إبداء الرأي مثلا، أو حرية الاختيار. يعني اللاجئ لما بيتم وضعه في مخيم معين على الأغلب مثلا ما بقدر ينتقل إلا بتصريح للمخيم الآخر. قديش فعلا فكرة إنه إدماج اللاجئين أو إعادة إدماجهم بالمجتمعات المضيفة سواء على مستوى أطفال أو على مستوى مثلا نساء أو رجال فكرة فعليا قابلة للتحقيق، يعني مش مجرد كلام وهمي إحنا بنتحدث فيه. يعني شو وجهة نظرك في الموضوع؟
Shaza, do you want to take this one?
I don't have a very
That's okay. We
political
could do it.
background. I don't think I can answer this question.
That's okay. Maybe Zainab, do you want to try? Shahid, do you want to translate to Zainab?
زينب بتحبي تجاوبي السؤال؟
Zainab, you're muted. Mic.
طبعا فكرة دمج اللاجئين السوريين فكرة بتساعد جدا. أنا كلاجئ زي ما قال جوردن، يعني أنا أكثر من مرة أنا بقدم على شغل بيجيني الرد إنه حتى لو عملت تيست يعني أو عملت يوم واحد ليشوفوا إنجازي مثلا أو قدراتي أو كفاءاتي، فتعجب يعني كانت كمديرة أو شيء هيك، تنبسط يعني من أدائي. فكنت تحكي لي لو مش سورية يعني يعني بس لو مو سورية، بس هذا كان إنه العائق يعني، بس لو مو سورية إنه في أولوية لحدا تاني، في أولوية لبنت البلد، أولوية حتى أنا على مستوى حضانة يعني تحضن أطفال ترعيهم عبال ما يجي أهلي ياخذوهم، فكان لا يفضل أردنية. صعب يعني بعض الروضات بعض الحضانات يعني كان إذا أخذ حدا موظف سوري كان يبقى على عاتقه يعني مسؤوليته هو يعني، ما حيتحاسب يعني إذا تم الأمر يعني وقانونيا. دمجه أكيد بيسهل كتير يعني. أنا بشعر إنه أنت بتزيد ثقافات جديدة. أنت لما تصير في دمج أنت أصلا بتعطي أنا باخذ منك خبرة وأنت بتعطيني خبرتك يعني. صار في تعاون بالخبرات، صار في يعني كمجتمع بيكبر لما أجيب أنا خبرتي وخبرتك مع بعض، وبصير في شيء أنا بعتبر إنه شيء جديد يعني غير الموجود أصلا كان قبل. فبيسهل على السوريين طبعا جدا، بيسهل على السوريين زي ما حكيتي انه شذا انه نحن ممكن ان انت حريه التنقل فعليا هو مش مسموح. حريه قياده السيارات، ما فيك تسوق سياره انت كسوري يعني، مش مسموح يعني. تملك حتى انك تملك يعني طبعا نحن ما حنجي انا امتلك عقار، امتلك شيء معين في المنطقة، لكن على مستوى أن أشتغل. أنا أم عندي أطفال وبدي أشتغل، مجبور أن أنا أنزل وأجيب قوت اليوم والشهر. فإذا أنا حد بيحكي لي إنه خلص لا صعب لو إنك سوري لو إنك أردنية ممكن عشان بس الجنسية، مش عشان أنا مش كفؤة ولا أنا مش مقبول اللي عندي مثلا السي في تبعي، بس لأني سورية. فأكيد أنا بسهل علي كثير لما يكون شيء قانوني، لما يكون في شيء مسهل، لما أنا مسموح لي أنا أتحرك زي غيري، لأنه أنا أصلا طلعت من بلدي ما جاي طفى على حدا، طلعت إني أنا مجبورة ومضطرة، وحاليا أنا مضطرة إني أشتغل. ف لا أتعدى على حقوق حدا. فلما بيكون موضوع قانوني بعتقد حتى الناس كلها تتعاون يعني.
Now, Zainab does believe that integration is a necessary step to support the refugee communities in Jordan, especially because this integration will make sure that the right of freedom of movement, the right of a job, the right of legal protection is all guaranteed. Zainab did face many situations where she was denied a job because she was Syrian. And often she heard the sentence or the phrase that only if you weren't Syrian. And so that was very difficult for her. And of course, integration is a necessary legal step that the community should take in order to achieve equality among the refugee community and the host family community, especially because Zainab, as a refugee, she does face so many challenges and she is often not accepted because of her nationality, not because of her capabilities as an individual, but just because she's Syrian.
ونقطة يعني إنه بس هيك شغلة صغيرة، إنه صحيح هي لما أنا مثلا نفترض في منظمة بتصرف عشان مش عشان مشروع تعليم نفترض أو دورات تدريبية مهنية مثلا، بينزل العدد إنه مثلا نحن مطالبين نفترض 60 مثلا 40 أو 45 أردني والباقي سوري مثلا، نحن بيدمجوا بياخذوا الجهتين، لكن الأولوية للأردنيين. هذا الشيء يعني انه جميل يكون لاهل البلد، لكن كمان هذا اللي بيستنى الطالب مثلا اللي نجح توجيهه بده فرصه دراسه مثلا بمنظمه معينه بتقدمها. طب هو شو ذنبه انه مثلا يقعد ينتظر مثلا؟ بما انه لما يصير شيء قانوني اكثر بعتقد انه اسهل، بسهل علينا كثير كثير يعني. لكن في نواحي ما حدا ينكر انه لا، في كان بتقدم يعني بتقدم اشياء عشان اللاجئين.
Now, Zainab also mentioned that in many situations, the priority is for Jordanian women and men. And so let's take an example. They want to, it's like a course, right? A job course. They choose out of 60 individuals, 45 are Jordanian and then 15 are refugees. And so this does really create a challenge for people like Zainab, because the priority are for the host community. And although that is a beautiful thing to empower the host community and the children of the country, it is still a huge challenge to Zainab, especially because, integration is needed in host countries where refugees are a huge, group of the population.
Thank you, Shahid. Thank you, Zainab. I know Rahaf had something to say. Rahaf?
Yeah. Actually, I think this idea is a little bit a illusion idea, because I'm gonna talk in Arabic right now because it's needed some Arabic words. Okay. هلا هاي الفكرة صراحة أتوقع إنه هي خيالية أو مش خيالية، كيف بدي أحكي لك إياها، غير موجودة أو غير حقيقية، غير واقعية. لأنه أغلب الأشخاص صراحة ما اندمجوا، هم اتعودوا، اتأقلموا، عملوا adaptation مع اللايف تبعهم in their life يعني. فهم اتأقلموا، مجرد تأقلم، بس ما كان اندماج نهائيا. عشان وين ما رحتي، وين مع مين ما حكيتي، مع مين ما شفتي، راح يعرفك إنك سورية، راح يتعامل معك على هذا الأساس تلقائيا، حتى لو هو مش قاصد إنه هيك يتعامل معاكي. فتلقائيا هو راح يتعامل معاكي كأنك أنت سورية تلقائيا بدون ما يحس. وكمان نقطة إنه دائما 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 يعني دائما الأولوية دائما للأردنيين، ما في للسوريين أولوية، مستحيل. هاي النقطة مستحيل تصير حتى يعني بالمستقبل. وإشي كمان إنه زي ما حكيت لك إنه هم تأقلموا، حتى الحكومة الأردنية تأقلمت مع السوريين. كانوا مثلا أول 5 سنين، أول 3 سنين كانوا يحطوا كتير قوانين مشددة عن الناس اللي بتشتغل، السورية اللي بتشتغل، وإنه ممنوع تشتغل، وإذا مسكوهم ممكن يرجعوهم على سوريا أو ممكن يودوهم على مخيمات الزعتري وأشياء زي هيك. كانت القوانين كتير صارمة، أو ممكن حتى يدفعوهم غرامة إذا شافوهم بيشتغلوا وهم مش مرخصين.
صحيح.
بس بعدين مع الوقت كتير خفت المراقبة. فكمان برضو هذا لا يسمى اندماج، هذا ممكن يسمى تأقلم هيك بس.
And Shahid, can you translate that for us, please? Thank you.
Rahaf said a beautiful statement. She said that what's happening in Jordan is not integration, it's rather adaptation. And so as the years are passing by, people are normalizing, let's say, interacting with the Syrian refugee community. And so the laws are less strict now with refugees, but it is not fully integrated. So the Syrian community, they're not fully accepted, but rather the community are just adapting to what's happening, especially because refugees do make up a huge part of Jordan. And so that was Rahab's own perspective of what's really happening in Jordan.
عاوز شهد شغلة نحكي لك.
أكيد.
بس عشان بحكي على رهف كان تحكي إنه مش اندماج. أنا كلمة اندماج كان إنه موضوع الاندماج كان بالنهاية بالأخير حكي عليه، لكن بالبداية أنا كنت بحكي عن التقبل، إنه كشعب متقبل، في شعب متقبل. كان أنا هذا السؤال وصلني، وكان إنه جوابي على إنه كان في نوع من بداية أنت كشخص جاي حدا يلجأ لك، وكان في تقبل منهم كالناس، لكن انه في استغراب، وفي مثلا ناس تنزعج من الناس الثانيين، انه انا سوري وتنزعج من وجودي مثلا في بعض الناس، لكن كان في تقبل كشخص يساعد الشخص. بحكي عن هذا الشيء، لكن الدماج هو ما صار، هو لسه ما صار. نحن نمشي بقيود، نحن حاليا نمشي بقيود، وما في لنا اي شيء مسهل يعني.
So Zainab just wants to clarify something, that the Jordanian community are accepting people. So they did accept the Syrian community, but that does not mean that there was full integration between the two communities. And that was just to clarify what Zainab meant. And also, Rahaf went back to the idea that, you know, the country is always prioritizing their own like their own citizens. So that's also a huge challenge that Rahaf faced on a personal base, where she usually found that she was treated based on her nationality and based on the fact that she is Syrian and not Jordanian.
And I wanted to get Shaza into the conversation as well. And I saw a question in the chat about, you know, how students integrate. And so maybe Shaza, can you share about you and your sister's experience, you know, with in the schooling aspect? Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sure. A few years ago, first, Syrians are not allowed in most schools to be in the same school with Jordanians. So at least they made them shifts for Jordanians and shifts for Syrian students. My sister was in the Syrians shift student, and they were treated in a very bad way by their teachers and by their they didn't see any colleagues because all the students there were Syrians, so mostly by their teachers. They weren't taught properly. Teachers won't teach them properly and give them all the classes that they need for their exams. Also, they would ask them to clean the school and take advantage of them to clean the school for the morning shift and the shift for the Jordanian students.
So just a little bit of context. That's been one of the ways in Jordan that they've dealt with the influx of students is double shift schools. So you'll have maybe Jordanian student, these are government public schools. And so I think that's what Shaza is talking about, how her sister was in the afternoon session. Is that correct, Shaza?
Exactly, yes. Batul wants to share something about that question too.
So Batul is another student at American University in Madaba studying finance and banking.
We will be having Shahad translating, please.
Okay.
هاي عم بتول بدي احكي عن انه كنت عم بسمع انه عم تحكوا انه كيف ممكن انه احنا انه ممكن يصير في تساوي بالحقوق بين المجتمع الاردني والمجتمع السوري. ما بتخيل حيصير لانه انا يعني والدتي اردنيه ومعي هويه ابناء الاردنيات، واجيت من فتره بدي اطلع سياره مشان اقدر انا اروح على الجامعه واجي ولما وصلت على انه انا يعني وصل الموضوع انه انا بدي اروح خلص اقدم، وصلت لهنيك بيحكوا لي انه اوكي معك هويه ابناء الاردنيات بس انت هي ما بتعمل لك ولا شيء، يعني بالنهايه انت ما معك جواز اردني، فما بيعتمدوها ولا بيعترفوا فيها، فهي فعليا كانها ورقه. فانا لما سالت انه طب ليه اذا هي مو مفيده ليه هي معنا، ليه يعطونا اياها؟ قال اي شيء غير الجواز الاردني ما بيعتمدوه، وانه يعطوك جواز مستحيل او انه يعطوك جنسيه حتى لو والدتك أردنية، وحتى لو أعطوكي هي الهوية اللي هنا معترفين فيها نوعا ما يعني. فلهيك ما بتخيل يعني مستحيل يزبط أي شيء، ومستحيل يعني حيصير اندماج كتير بيننا وبين المجتمع.
شكرا Batul. Now Batul mentioned she had a different perspective than Shada and Rahaf and Zainab. She believes that integration is extremely hard to achieve, especially because from her personal experience, her mother is Jordanian while her father isn't. And so in this scenario, kids of Jordanian mothers receive a specific card. It's called Abna al-Urduniyat. And this card is normally not really, I want to say, not really identified by the government, and so Batul cannot purchase her own car. She cannot do basic things just because she has this specific card and not a Jordanian passport. And so this is her personal challenge of facing biased or racist behavior because her mother is Jordanian while her father isn't. And so integration is extremely difficult in the legal manner of whether or not the rights of refugees will be equal to the rights of Jordanian citizens.
Thank you so much, Shahad. And I think, I know we've only got 10 minutes left. Maybe a last question for everyone could be, I know there's questions in the chat about the future. Maybe each of you guys could share your dreams for the future. And why I invited each of you guys on this session is because I think you embody one of the themes we have about, resilience and hopes. And maybe you guys could share like what helps keep you going, because when you've got all these things that you could just, give up on life, you just keep on going and you have such resilience, which inspires me. So dreams for the future and what helps keep you going. Maybe we could start with Zainab, if you could translate, Shahad. Thank you so much.
هلا جوردن اول إشي بده يحكي انه هو عزمكم على هاي الويبينار لانه انتم مثال للقوه ومثال للامل ومثال لكيف الواحد بيقدر يتخطى كل صعوبات الحياه وكل المشاكل اللي ممكن يواجهها بالمستقبل. فسؤاله لكم في احلام بدكم تحققوها في المستقبل؟ في اي إشي بدكم يعني تعملوه؟ وايش الإشي اللي بيخليكم تضلكم إيجابيين ويضل عندكم أمل للمستقبل وتضلكم تعيشوا حياتكم وتحاولوا قدر الإمكان إنه تواجهوا كل الصعوبات اللي بتواجهوها كونكم لاجئين.
أحكي أنا. طبعا أنا فخورة والله أنا فخورة جدا بعرفتي فيكم يعني وبهذا اللقاء. طبعا عندنا أحلام. عندي هدفك نشر الوعي دائما بالمجتمع، أيا كان سوريين بالذات، أردنيين، أيا كان أي جنسية يعني. عندي هدفك في المستقبل إن إحنا نبقى أوعى من أي ناحية كانت، أوعى كناس تعيش صح، كأهالي يربوا صح، كطفل يعيش صح. يعني في هدف إن شاء الله. أنا يعني على المستوى الشخصي إنه بتأمل إن شاء الله أكون عندي مركز في إرشاد وتلبية لحاجات الأهالي، إرشاد وأسري. يعني كثير جدا كثير هذا الموضوع مستهويني الفترة يعني طويلة. يعني قبل كنت كثير أنا والطفل بيهمني كثير ناحية الطفل. حاليا صرت أهتم أكثر ناحية الأهالي لأنه هن بينشئوا هذا الطفل. هذا على المستوى الشخصي. هدف عام نحن ننتشر الوعي عنا أكثر وأكثر، ننشر المحبة أكثر. لما تكون في أنت واعي لذاتك بداية، بعدين واعي للناس اللي حواليك، فأنت حيكون في عندك مودة أكثر، تقبل أكثر. السؤال الثاني كان إنه صعوبات أو شيء. أنا بتأمل إني قريبا أنا ولا أي حدا غيري بيدور عن شغل على باب رزق يقدر يوصل له، لأنه هذا اللي بيخليني أنا أصلا أشعر بالأمان. أنا لما يكون عندي أنا دخل مؤمن، أنا بشتغل، والشغل أصلا هو الشغل بيعطيك سعادة. الشغل بحد ذاته أيا كان هو بيعطيك سعادة. فما بالك إذا كنت تشتغلي مع أشخاص هن محتاجين مثلا هي المساعدة، إن كان على مستوى الكلمة، على مستوى نصيحة. إذا تشتغلي أنت مع هذا الأشخاص، هذا هو الشغل لإلك، نفس الوقت أنت بتكوني في معونة حدا يعني محتاج مساعدة، فهذا بيسبب لي السعادة. يعني هذا بيعطيني أمل ودائما هيك تفاؤل لقدام لما أكون أنا بشتغل.
Now Zainab does hope that she can raise more awareness about refugee communities worldwide, not just necessarily Syrian, but just international refugee communities that face similar challenges. On a personal level, she is very passionate about counseling kids and families and parents, and she's hoping to do and practice her passion in the future. And also, she really hopes that getting a job, the process of applying to a job and getting a job would be easier, especially since she's a refugee, because she mentioned that having a job means that she feels safe and she feels secure. And that is very important for her as a parent and as a mom. And so she hopes that all refugees can apply to jobs in an easier way and receive jobs and opportunities just like Jordanians.
Thank you so much, Zainab, and thank you, Shahid. Maybe we'll go over to Shaza. Would you guys like to share?
Yes. So the question again was the hopes for the future, right? Am I right?
Yeah, and what helps keep you going? Two-part question.
Yes. I have an aim that after all these situations I've been through, I put an aim to achieve one day. I aim to graduate and get my degree, and I really want to learn more languages to be able to connect young generations with each others, and to be able to raise young generations on being not ethnocentric and not to be racism, and not to treat people in that way. Maybe if young generations learn to love each other more and learn to love other cultures more, maybe one day we won't face such problems in our societies.
Thanks so much, Shaza. Did Batul or Reem want to share anything, or?
I don't think so.
Okay, then maybe we'll go over to Rahaf. So dreams for the future and what helps keep you going, Rahaf.
I think my dream is the same of Shada's actually, but also I want to complete also my I want to enter master degree, and but that only if I found a scholarship that cover it, of course. And if that didn't happen, yeah, I may just learn new languages. And yeah, actually that's all my dreams yani right now. And I really hope that when I graduate, I may found a work that I can work in it, and have, as Zainab said, have a work that I can work in and be safe in sorry, and that I can live from this work, that I can still work in it for maybe 4 years, 5 years later. Um, I think what makes me still want to learn and want to dream is that we're still alive. There's a lot of people that live their life worse than us. We are in a very good situation. Why don't we take it and use it with a very good things to learn to do? We don't need to give up so soon, actually, and we don't like that. So yeah.
What a great way to end, Rahaf. I think that's such a, and knowing you, and I know that it's been hard work, following your dreams. And, I just thank you, Zainab and Rahaf and Batul and Shaza and Shahid. Thank you so much for translating. I wanted to wrap up by saying that, as you've seen, one of the difficulties is securing jobs. Right? You've heard this from Zainab, you've heard this from the students. They don't know, what kind of job they can secure after they graduate. And so we're actually partnering with an HBKU initiative, Katra, to help women like these with securing jobs by making, whether it be beaded purses. We've got Zainab's daughter, Serene, making different drawings. She's 10, 11 years old now. So I think Alina is on the call, so she's going to put in the chat a way to buy some of these products to help support women like Zainab and these students, because I think one of the difficulties I've seen over the course of the pandemic is, and even before that, is just how do we give agency to people's stories and let them determine their own future. So is there anything else you'd like to add, Bayan?
Thank you so much, and thank you to all these wonderful women. شكرا كتير لكم عشان حكيتوا تجربتكم معنا، وحكيتوا عن تجربتكم لما وصلتوا على الأردن وهلأ، وخططكم للمستقبل، وأمنياتكم إن شاء الله تتحقق يا رب. To translate, I was thanking them for telling us about their journey once they arrived, their experience right now, and their dreams for the future. I hope that they come true. And I kind of understand. I'm not a refugee, but my father was a refugee. He's a Palestinian refugee in Lebanon, and he used to tell us, that his experiences in Lebanon were not great because they didn't give them equal rights, I guess. But actually, he went to Syria after that, and he loved it there because the Syrians treated the Palestinians exactly the same as they treated Syrians. He felt at home there. And my mom is also a Palestinian who was raised in Syria, so Syria was also their home. So they're always telling us stories about Syria. So thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. And thank you, Jordan, for bringing them to us as well. And thank you to everybody who attended and listened to all the talks from today. People like all of you, all of the speakers who joined us today are an inspiration to so many who want to positively contribute to making the world a better place, especially by helping refugees all around the globe. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us and shed light on the plight of refugees. Don't forget that tomorrow is our last day of the refugee event, and we still have so many more incredible speakers, so stay tuned, and we look forward to having you tomorrow.
If I may also add just my gratitude.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there, Mr. Jordan, as the Maker Majlis platform, we are really grateful to this amazing session. Like voices from the ground is so important, from the field is so important, and you have done so much for us. And Alina used to be one of my students, and now seeing her flourishing this way and supporting the world, contributing to humanity in this fashion, it is really admirable. And you also provided a support circle to her. So we are really grateful. And once again, special thanks. And if that's okay with you, we really would like to do similar events where we can host our colleagues, refugees on the ground, and we can share experiences, and we can turn them into capacity building or similar sort of events. So once again, special thanks.
Oh, thank you for that. I'd love to keep working with HBKU, and I think it's just so important, as you said, to hear the stories on the ground, and stories, can help us decide how to take action. So thank you so much for having us, and we look forward to, and thank you all of these incredible women, that took time out of their day to share their stories. So, and thank you, Bayan.
So Bayan, too, thank you so much, dear Jordan. If this is possible, I will need 1 minute of your times. There's something that has been really affecting me, like in the past 48 hours. I've been really upset because of the loss of one of my students, one of our alumni, who passed away on Sunday evening in London in a car crash. And every student to me is very unique, very important. And but I remember the first day my student Ala Al-Siddiq came to our program to study. She was very shy. She was very, I don't know what to say, but very afraid of studying. She felt that she couldn't do it. But then she did it. She did wonderful. And then afterwards, I learned about her story, that she got political asylum from Qatar because her father in UAE was imprisoned because of prison of conscience. and because of his political views in UAE. So as a family, they stripped off their citizenship and they came to Qatar, except the father, of course. And she was studying here, and she later established a human rights organization. She had to refugee to UK to start a new life, and then she passed away. We don't know how. It says a car crash, but we don't know. There will be like evaluations of the accident, etc. And again, we don't know anything. But what I kind of request to you is a 1 minute of silence. And if you can please share your prayer with her and her family and her impact as a refugee which started from UAE to Qatar to UK, and the work she did. If you want to check Al Qast Institute, she was the executive director, human rights organization Al Qast, alqst.org, a UK-based organization. Maybe if you want to follow their profile, and just 1 minute of silence and showing her our sympathy and her family with a prayer, please. Thank you.
الله يرحمها آلاء الصديق.
Thank you. Back to you, Bayan, if you want to finalize for the day.
I think I'm good. That's I'm done from my side. Thank you, everyone, for your prayers and moment of silence. Allah yarhamha, and may God grant her the highest levels of Jannah, ya Rab. And may God ease everyone's pain all over the world and bring justice to those who need it. There are so many terrible things happening all over the world, and especially with me as a Palestinian and everything that's happening in Palestine already. It's killing me, and it's literally killing so many other people out there. And all we can do from where we are is just pray and try to contribute to the societies that we are in positively. So hopefully we can all do that together and make the world a better place together, inshallah. Thank you so much.
Inshallah. Thank you very much for everyone. Thank you, Bayan. Thank you, Shahid, for your translating. Thank you, Jordan, for let us came and be in this great meeting. Thank you, everyone.
شكرا كمان، شكرا لكم، شكرا لجوردن أتحنا نحكي، وشكرا رهف وشهد وشذا والجميع، والله يرحم آلاء ويجعل إن شاء الله في الجنة يا رب. وشكرا إني انبسطني شفتكم اليوم.
احنا انبسطنا فيكي، شكرا كتير. شكرا لكم كلكم.
I'll be thinking of your stories definitely, and I keep Allah in my prayers.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Ma salama, everyone.